What's up, Mets fans? The Bat Fry, Kenny Fry here with the Bat Cave. Coming up on this episode, I'll be taking a look at some minor wheelings and dealings that the Mets made this past week. Also, I'll take a little look at the three-headed monster that is Juan Soto, Alex Bregman, and Pete Alonso in free agent land. And which two would you like? Which two would I like? Which two make a bit of sense? And we'll go from there. So we'll be talking that and whatever else you guys want to throw out there. So buckle up and let's roll. Good evening, New York Mets Nation, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry, and it doesn't matter, morning, noon, or night, you know what day it is. It is, of course, Hump Day. There we go, baby, Hump Day. Got to get it in you. A little bit of Hump Day. Hump Day to finish your day. All right. It's all downhill from here, except for those poor saps that got to work the weekend. Losers. That was me last weekend. All right. So we got that out of the way. Real quick, I also want to do the sponsor reads here because I seem to forget at the end of the show and then I'm fumbling around. So I'm thinking about it now. So I'm going to do it now. We got our boy Jason Fine, J Fine Law, attorney Big Al. You reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. His office in New Jersey is located in Cherry Hill on 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And his office is in Pennsylvania. He has one in Pittsburgh. And that is located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And he has one located in Philadelphia on 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. And the phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Make sure you tell him that Out of the Box Sports sent you, and he'll hook you up with a great deal. Also, me personally, I have a sponsor who's sponsored W Energy Drink. You can reach them at www.w.gg for all their products. They got swag, of course. They got energy drinks already in cans. They have energy drink powders in packets or in tubs. They also have hydration drinks in packets, and I don't know if they have them in tubs. I know they definitely have them in packets. They have some kick-ass looking shakers, so some great stuff there. Love the energy drinks, Jitterless energy drinks made with a coffee fruit extract. Very good. Very good stuff. I dig it. The flavor I'm drinking right now is a mango orange cream. Very good. Smells awesome. Tastes awesome. And like it said, they advertise it's jitterless. I didn't get any jitters, but I felt that extra boost, just like I'm drinking an energy drink. So be sure to check them out and use that promo code, The Bat Cave, all one word, The Bat Cave, for 10% off your order. That's www.w.gg, W Energy Drink. All right, so let's kick this shindig off. Mets made a couple moves this past week. Nothing too crazy. One decent sized movie, I guess you can look at so far this early off season. I guess it's still technically early off season. I don't know. I guess the World Series wasn't that long ago. But back on the 13th, the Mets signed right-hand pitcher Rico Garcia to a minor league deal. 30-year-old, 10 games last season, 9.26 ERA. Again, minor league deal. They signed right-hand pitcher Alex Carrillo to a minor league deal. He was 3-1 with 3.31 ERA in 35 games with Washington Wild Things in the old Frontier League. He also had a 2.77 ERA in 14 games in this past Venezuelan Winter League season. I believe that's still currently going on. It says 24-25, so I assume it's still going on. So pitching well there. So that might be one to watch. That's Alex Carrillo. They also signed second baseman Donovan Walton to a minor league deal. 30-year-old second baseman, played 9 games with the San Francisco Giants, 1 home run, 2 RBI, 136 batting average, 513 OPS. You can't get a whole lot of stats in 9 games, but that's what they are. Also, they signed right-hand pitcher Justin Hagenman. Let me look his stats up here real quick. I forgot to write him down. Hagenman. So yeah, college guy, international league guy. 2027, he pitched for Worcester, AAA Worcester in the International League. He was 4-6, 4.91 ERA. That's 28 games, 15 games started. So he came out of the pen, started some games. 91 and 2/3 innings pitched. I gave up a shit ton of home runs. I don't know if that's correct or not, but 21 home runs, that's a lot of dingers to give up. 31 walks, 98 Ks, a whip of 1.320. So yeah, a 3.16 strikeouts to walks ratio. So that's Justin Hageman. And then they also traded. There was a trade. The Mets made a trade. That this is the one that might have raised some eyebrows. They traded Eric Orz for Jose Siri. Siri, playing in his 29-year-old season, played in 130 games in right field for the Tampa Bay Rays, or in center field. I'm sorry, center field for the Tampa Bay Rays. He hit 187, which is very eye-opening, very concerning. Now, the season before, let me double check what it was. I believe he hit like 230, 220, 230. So it's been a steady decline. But he has some pop in his bat. And if for some reason you lose out on the Juan Soto trade, you picked up a pretty good outfielder yet, and Jose Siri, decent. Let's see here. So yeah, back in 2023, he hit 222, 2022 between the Astros and the Rays. He hit 213. So he's a low batting average guy, but it is what it is, right? That is what it is. Last year, 1.9 WAR, 255 on base, 366 slug, 620 OPS, 18 home runs, 47 RBI. So he has a little bit of pop there. 14 stolen bases, 170 strikeouts, 116 games started, a 980 fielding percentage. Like I said, if you're losing out on Juan Soto, you already picked up an outfielder for outfielding depth. Obviously, that's not gonna cut it for a replacement for Juan Soto. I was thinking of somebody totally different. But anyway, if you're not re-signing, you're bringing back Tyrone Taylor. All right. If you're not re-signing Harrison Bader, that's what I'm trying to think of. If you're not re-signing Harrison Bader, if he's walking, which it looks like, if you're picking up Jose Siri, it looks like he's probably walking. All right. If you're not picking him back up, now you just replaced him, and by all accounts, maybe Jose Siri, it looks like he has a little bit more pop than what Harrison Bader did or does. Batting average wise, Harrison Bader did get on base a lot more, a good bit more than what Siri did. I mean, it's kind of you're trading. It's almost an even trade if you ask me. Harrison Bader for Jose Siri. You gain some in some spots, you lose some in some other spots. We have a decent young outfield contingent looking to come up, so it's going to be interesting to see where they go from there. What the Mets decide to do. Looking at Jet Williams, possibly in center field. You have your Drew Gilberts out there in the outfield as well. Luis Angel Acuna, some outfield experience. So, like I said, a couple of young prospects looking to come up and push the envelope here, make the big league roster, and then you trade for Jose Siri. Now you have Jose Siri and Tyrone Taylor both under contract out there in center field. So it's going to be interesting. Do they keep Tyrone Taylor around? Do they end up cutting ties with Tyrone Taylor? Again, we're still looking for more outfield depth. If you sign Juan Soto, does he stay in the outfield? Does he move to DH? What happens with Starling Marte? Does he move to DH maybe? And you put Juan Soto out in right field. If you do sign Juan Soto, I mean the Mets are by most accounts that the rumors that you hear on the interwebs, the Mets are the leaders in the clubhouse right now with a supposed contract offer. Who knows what's real, what's not real, what's put out there just to perk up ears of other teams or other GMs or whatever owners. But so the rumor I heard was the Mets offered him $660 million. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I didn't see any confirmation. Where you have Steve Cohen or you have somebody from Soto's camp come out and say yes, that's what was offered by the Mets so far, and we're sitting on it. That's I didn't hear anything like that. I just seen that out there. Got a couple comments here, Jonathan Shankup. I hope I said that right. It's either Shankup or Scancup. It says, "Hey Kenny, what's up, John?" He says, I don't like Jose Siri. I think Siri is troublemaker and lacks commitment to win due to striking out 170 times out of 350 at bats in 2024. And that's the other thing I do have written down here: 170 strikeouts, and I don't know if I mentioned that or not. 980 fielding percentage. Does strike out a whole lot. And if you want to compare it, us Mets fans got to watch Pete Alonso all season, right? And we felt like he struck out a lot. He struck out 172 times. So you're getting somebody that strikes out a whole lot. Because Pete struck out a lot last season. And to be honest with you, it felt like more than 172 times chasing that goddamn slider down and away. Oh, God. It just brings you nightmares. Juan Soto will be a Dodger. They built a team for ring chasers. I don't know if the Dodgers can afford him. To be honest with you, with all that they have on the books. Now granted, the Shohei Ohtani contract doesn't really kick in for quite a few years yet. They're paying, what is it, $2 million or whatever it is per season until 14, 15 years down the road, whatever it is before he starts getting paid like 68 mil or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know if they can afford him, and I don't know if they'd go that route or not. I'm not really sure, and I'm not sure if Juan Soto would want to be on that team. He wants to compete. From what I understand, he wants to compete with I don't know if with Shohei Ohtani, but at least contract wise, he wants more money than Shohei Ohtani annually. That's what I've been hearing, and that's what I've been reading as well. And I don't know if he'd want to be on the same team as Shohei or I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard the Dodgers all that much as being big players. I've heard the Mets, I've heard the Yankees. Now the Phillies are talking to them. The Blue Jays are also kind of like a dark horse, but I haven't heard a whole lot from the Dodgers. I thought I might hear more from the San Francisco Giants, to be honest with you, but I haven't heard a whole lot from the San Francisco Giants. I know they were in heavy on a couple free agents back in 2023. I know it was Carlos Correa. They were trying to get Aaron Judge. So I'm kind of surprised that I haven't heard a whole lot about San Francisco Giants looking to throw their cash bag at Juan Soto. But the four teams that I've been hearing more of were the Yankees, Mets, Blue Jays, and now the Phillies. I haven't heard a whole lot about the Dodgers. Maybe the Red Sox too. They're kind of still creeping around. But like I said, from what I've seen online, the Mets offered $660 million again. Don't know if that's true, fictional, but it sounds about right. It sounds about he's going to get anywhere between $600-700 million, and I think it's disgusting, to be honest with you. To be offered that much money, and you know, I guess he is the best at his position, but I mean, but still, that's all. It's a shit ton of money for one person, for one guy. That's a ton of money, and like I said, he not to Juan Soto bash. I'd love to have Juan Soto on my team, but he wants more money annually than Shohei Ohtani. But my thought is like, is he better than Shohei Ohtani though? I don't know. I don't know if he's better than Shohei Ohtani. I mean, you kind of look at the numbers, and I think if you look at the numbers, Shohei Ohtani probably has the better numbers. Hitting. Now outfield, Shohei Ohtani was DH all year, coming off the Tommy John surgery, but he did play some right field when he was with the Angels, and I don't think he was a bad right fielder at all. But he's a decent pitcher. Now, if when he comes back off this Tommy John surgery, we'll see the kind of pitcher he is. It takes a little bit of time, but still, it's interesting. You ask yourself, who would you rather have on your team, Shohei Ohtani or Juan Soto? I mean, I think I would take Shohei Ohtani over Juan Soto for the same money, straight up same money, and I think I'd take Shohei Ohtani. That's my opinion though. You must pick one. Jeff McNeil or Marte will not be a Met in 2021. I would say Marte, and the reason I say Marte is just the injury factor and age. Both on contracts that are tough to get rid of to begin with. I like Jeff McNeil, and I like Starling Marte. But the injury factor, every season he's missing big chunks of the season due to injury, and it hurts the team because he's such a huge force, huge catalyst in that lineup hitting wise, and for him to be out, large chunks of the season really hurts that team. There's no flow. Then he gets back in, and it takes a little while for that flow to come back for that whole lineup. And then when it does, it looks good. It looks really good. But the flash that Jeff McNeil has shown second half of the season before he was hurt, before getting hit on the wrist, I hope that he's able to carry that over into next season and kind of rejuvenate himself. Kind of what kind of word I'm trying to think of here. It just kind of show people this is who I am now. I can't think of the word. I'm not a thesaurus. I'm more of a brontosaurus, if anything. Dad joke. But yeah, I'd rather have Jeff McNeil and Starling Marte. Jeff McNeil, he can go out there and play right field probably just as well as Starling Marte. So you don't lose anything, in my opinion, anyway. Jonathan says it would take me 7,000 years to make $700 million. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't even imagine that kind of money. Like it's something that just like it's lottery talk. It's Powerball talk. You always have that. When the Powerball gets up to a huge amount, like oh, what would you do with $700 million? Like, well, I'm taking a lump sum, so it's actually going to be $450 million. But still, I would do this. I mean, that's what it's like. It's unfathomable. I got it out there. It's a little stumble in the middle, but it's unfathomable. It's a number you can't grasp. In terms of cash or in terms of anything. $700 million of it, 700 million of anything it's insane. But just thinking of that in money, it's crazy, absolutely insane. You could get three guys, three good baseball players for that. Because I'm not talking, like just three dudes. Hey, walk on the street. Hey, three dudes, come on over to my house for $700 million. No, that's weird. I'm talking three really good baseball players, all-star caliber type players. You get three of them for $700 million. It's tough. I'd rather have Soto. Ohtani is injury prone, and Ohtani does have a history of getting injured. If you go back to his early years with the Angels, he had a couple seasons where he was injured, and then now you look at the Tommy John as well, and some minor twinges and tweaks in between there. Trying to remember back, I think it's his last season with the Angels. There was an issue, I think. or was that the Tommy John? I don't remember. But yeah, and so it's I look at Otani. I see the higher batting average. I see the stolen bases. I see the bigger power numbers, and and you also have to ask yourself who's putting butts in seats more. Like if you're looking to sell out a stadium as well, uh, you know, would you rather go see Shohei Otani or Juan Soto? I mean, I personally I think I'd rather go see Shohei Otani. Shohei Otani, I don't think walks as much as Juan Soto. Hawks is Juan. That's a lot of fun to say. Juan walks to the store. Juan walks to the supermarket with his $700 million. But anyway, I just feel like Otani's more exciting too, and I don't know. It's so close, but I just don't think Soto offensively is as good as Shohei Otani. And like you can nitpick like I said with the injuries or Shohei doesn't play the outfield anymore. You don't know what kind of pitcher he's going to be, so basically you're paying. So the original thought with Shohei Otani is you're paying $700 million for two players. For a pitcher and a hitter. Uh, but if he can't pitch, if his pitching is just drastically awful, coming off this Tommy John surgery, now you're paying for just the hitter. Maybe you get him in the outfield. Now the one upside on Juan Soto, or not upside, the one thing about Juan Soto is he's not a pitcher either. He's your hitter. He's an outfielder, just a regular role player. Where Shohei has that exciting factor. Oh, he's a pitcher, he's a hitter, he can field and all that stuff. At least that's what he was with the Angels. With the Dodgers, we didn't see him in the field, and I don't know if that was due to injury, his Tommy John stuff, which I assume it was, because you can't really throw into the field if your arm is sitting in a 15-pound brace. So I don't know if there's any expectations that he plays the outfield at all moving forward for Shohei Ohtani. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Here's a great question Jonathan brings up. Who will the Mets DH be? Who will be the Mets DH? That's what I meant to say. Who will be the Mets DH in 2025? A great question. It's not going to be JD Martinez. It's not going to be Daniel Vogelback. It's not going to be Daniel Vogelback. So a lot of it depends on where the Mets go in free agency here. 1 second here. I hear my dogs outside barking, and nobody's giving a shit. So I gotta text the old daughter and say, "Let the puppies in." So anyway, back to the task at hand here. It depends a lot on what happens. So if the Mets go out there, they sign, let's say that they sign Juan Soto, and they sign Pete Alonso. So you figure Pete probably stays at first. Juan Soto, I think he ends up sharing time at DH. I wouldn't be surprised if he and if you keep Starling Marte around, if he and Starling Marte share time at DH. If you go the route that I've been hearing more, getting more traction recently is the Mets going after Alex Bregman and Juan Soto. And so Bregman's a third baseman. So what do you do with Vientos? Well, so if you're signing Bregman and Soto, you're not re-signing Pete Alonso. So there's a hole at first base. And there is potential that you move Mark Vientos over to first base. He has played first base before. So who DHs then? So then it looks like it could be Starling Marte. That's who I would think would be your DH then. Get his ass out of the field. Or even I don't know who else you can get at first base, but you even look at Mark Vientos at DH. So if the Mets go Juan Soto, right field, Pete, then they re-sign Pete at first base, and let's say Brett Baty figures his shit out, right? We're still on the Brett Baty train here. I am, at least I am. I still think that there's an opportunity for Brett Baty to be a terrific major leaguer. He just needs to figure his shit out. And it's one thing I talked about before on the show, John, many months ago. Brett Brady did not have a whole lot of time in AAA. He didn't spend a whole lot of time in AAA. I mean, Mark Vientos, he went through the ringer. The dude went through the ringer. I spent a decent amount of time in AAA, decent amount of time in AA. He worked his ass off. He worked his way up. He was up. He was down. He was up. He was down, and he earned it. Brett Beatty, he was more handed it, if you ask me, than he earned it. Not a lot of time in AAA, so I'm thinking if Brett Beatty figures his shit out, you bring Brett Beatty up, you put him at third, you DH Vientos, and you rotate Vientos at third. You rotate Vientos and Brett Beatty. That way, Vientos stays sharp at third base because I thought he played a decent third base, better than what most people I think thought. Yeah, did he have some flubs? Absolutely, he had some flubs. But for the most part, I thought he played a very good third base. He's a young dude. He's a young player. He's only going to get better at the position. He's he's going to work his ass off just to prove that this past season was not an aberration. So I feel like that's a possibility though. If you re-sign Alonso, if you if you sign Soto, I'm hoping that we see an improved Brett Beatty, and that the Mets get younger. If Brett Beatty figures his shit out, the Mets get younger and a little bit more dynamic. If Brett Beatty is who we all hope he was, and there's still that opportunity. There's absolutely still that opportunity, and there's also a guy that I'm not even thinking of that you bring up right here, Jonathan, is Jesse Winker. I mentioned this on many shows after the season so far. The shows that I've done is I want Jesse Winker back, and Jesse Winker did not have a good second half of the season overall. He wasn't great in the regular season for the Mets. He did have some big moments during the regular season for the Mets when the Mets traded for him. Postseason wise, I thought he was outstanding. He brought attitude, he brought excitement, big hits, and swagger. And that's something I felt like the Mets were missing for a large part of the season. For as exciting as that run was that the Mets had down that stretch, from June on, it always felt like they were missing something, and it was a cockiness, it was a swagger, and I feel like Jesse Winker brought that swagger. And if the Mets are able to re-sign Jesse Winker, rotate him in the outfield as well. And that's, could be why you were asking about Starling Marte, if the Mets should keep Starling Marte, because you could play Jesse Winker in the outfield. And I think he'd be just as good as an outfielder as Starling Marte. And and also like I said, Jeff McNeil, he rotates in the outfield as well. But he's also, somebody you put at DH, and he, did a decent job there. But it's the swagger. It's the we don't care attitude, and the exciting, that it's just, the interaction with the fans, home and away, the bad guy. I love that stuff from Jesse Winker, and I feel like every good team needs that guy. I feel like I think that every good team needs that guy, and I mean, I'm trying to think of the Dodgers, trying to think Dodgers wise, like who on that team is that guy. It's not going to be Mookie. It's not going to be Freddie Freeman. It's not Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, man, I'm not thinking. Is it Max Muncy? Maybe Max Muncy. Has that a little bit of a swagger. The Dodgers have somebody. I'm not thinking. I can put names. I see pictures in my head, but I can't put names to their faces right now. But you look at the Phillies, the Philadelphia Phillies. That I look at Bryce Harper. He brings that swagger. He brings that swagger. Like, we're gonna come into your house. We're gonna eat your dinner. We're gonna, you know, I don't want to say kick the dog because we don't want to kick dogs. We like dogs. We like cats, So I don't want to say kick the dog. We know what I'm getting at, right? He brings that swagger, that cockiness, and then that aura, and they bring that to the team, and it forms it shapes the team, and it kind of, if the other guys feed off of that energy, and you need stuff like that. You need guys like that. So here's Jonathan's projected Mets 2025 lineup. He has Lindor at 1, Soto at 2, Vientos 3, Alonso 4, McNeil 5, Nimmo 6, Alvarez 7, Winker 8, and Jose Siri bat 9. That looks like a great lineup. It absolutely does. That's why you have Lindor shortstop, Soto right. Uh, yeah, Soto right field. I would assume Vientos third, Pete at first, McNeil looks like would be second, Nimmo out there in left, Alvarez catching, Winker DH, and Jose Siri uh, in right. Yeah, that looks like a terrific lineup. That looks like a lineup that can win the World Series. I just looking at that the first, Jesus, the top six. If McNeil comes back the way he was in the second half, and we know he can be, absolutely, that's a hell of a team to try to beat. And Brandon Nimmo, coming back healthy. We know he was battling that what was it, the Liz Franks or whatever foot injury for most of the season, and really aggravated it there in the postseason. We've seen what he was. He was just a shell of himself. But if he can come back healthy, we've seen the first half of the season what he can do when he's healthy, and he was dynamic. He was should have been an all-star. And I'm not going to open that can of worms because I have my thoughts on it, and I'm sure other people have their thoughts on it. And I guarantee you, we're not going to be thinking the same. So, yeah, that's a great lineup. I dig that lineup. I'd go with that 100% of the time, and that's contingent on the Mets signing Soto and re-signing Pete Alonso, and they absolutely can. And as I'm going to get into it here in a minute, uh, hey Stacy, what's up? She says, "Hello, Bat Cavers. Happy Hump Day. You know what day it is? Hump Day." Which minor league player is the first to reach the Mets in 2025? Mauricio, Acuna, Gilbert, or Jet Williams? Um, I think Acuna. One because he had those two great weeks. But I wouldn't be surprised if he started on the big league roster. Uh, Ronnie Mauricio, I don't know where he's at right now, man. I don't know. For everything I heard, he's behind schedule on his rehab. He's still not doing baseball type things, whatever the hell that means. And so I don't know. Mauricio's like way behind. It seems like coming off that ACL surgery. So I don't know if we see him at all next season. Maybe he just stays down, Double A or Triple A all season to kind of get his legs back under him, so to speak. Drew Gilbert, Jet Williams. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one or both of those guys next season. And I say that, and it depends on what we see out of Tyrone Taylor. If the Mets decide to keep Tyrone Taylor, if they decide to get rid of Tyrone Taylor, do they put Acuna out in the outfield and center field as a depth piece, or do they call up Jet Williams or Drew Gilbert? I think Jet Williams is absolutely ready. I'm excited to see Jet Williams. I can't wait to see Jet. I got to see him play this past season in Lehigh Valley. I went to see the Syracuse Mets and the Iron Pigs, as I'm pretty close to Allentown there, so that's easiest for me. I'm not driving to Syracuse. It's like 6 hours away, 7 hours away. The hell with that. But anyway, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Drew Gilbert and Jet Williams next year. And again, it depends, injury wise. Guys are going to get injured. What does McNeil look like? Is McNeil, uh, you know, taking a crap on the season again, or Jose Iglesias? Mets bring him back. Do they bring him back? What does he look like? Is he able to replicate what he did last season? So a lot of it really banks on that as to where these guys are going to play. Because Jet Williams, I do believe, can play infield and outfield. Drew Gilbert, outfielder. Acuna, infield, outfield. And same thing with Ryan Mauricio, infield, outfield. I'm trying to think. I think Mauricio did spend some time over at third base, or at least he was working out at third base before his injury. Acuna, I'm not sure if he played, if he was, they had him working out at third base at all. But Jet Williams, I think he was second base and center field. Drew Gilbert, center field. So yeah, I want to see these guys starting to come up because I've been hearing so much about them for the last few seasons. I want to start seeing these guys, but you can't if there's a backlog, a log jam at those positions. So it's a lot of it's going to bank on what some of these guys are doing during the regular season. It's going to bank on injuries. It's going to bank on who the Mets bring back, and whereas we're going to see throughout this free agency period, we'll get a better idea come February, come March, the start of spring training, as to who we have the potential of seeing up on the big league roster from the minor leagues. Pitching wise, I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if it's nobody. I'm not really sure. Maybe shit, I can't think of his name right now. There was one name. I can't think of it. There was one pitching prospect. I thought I had it there for a second. Who was seemed to be making a lot of noise down with the Mets, and I like I said, I can't think of his name right now. Uh, but maybe there's a potential of seeing him up. But we have to see what we do in free agency. It's all everything minor league wise is going to bank on free agency. Who we're going to see, who we have the potential of seeing, and not. Jet Williams, I feel like he had a pretty decent spring training last year. Acuna had a decent spring training last year. I don't remember Drew Gilbert, what he looked like during spring training. But I'm sure we're going to see all those guys with the Mets during spring training. So we'll get to see him again and kind of um, take a look at him again. But yeah, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Mauricio at all, just because of how far behind he is on his rehab with his knee. And I do think we'll definitely see Acuna, and I wouldn't be surprised if he started with the big league team. And then Drew Gilbert, Chet Williams, I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen both of them. And again, that all banks on what the Mets do in free agency and what kind of injuries and how guys are playing. Because I would have to believe. Yes, thank you, Jonathan Brandon Sprout, thank you, or Sprout, however you want to say it. I say Sprout, you say Sprout. Potato, potato. Um, but yeah, but back to my thought here. If Jeff McNeil's is shitting the bed again, you can't keep marching him out there like we did last season. You just can't do it. And eventually, Mendoza did start, uh, have him split in time with uh, with Jose Iglesias. Iglesias absolutely earned time. He earned time. McNeil was still crap in the bed. Iglesias was playing terrific. Mets were turning things around, and they had a split time. I mean that's if Jeff McNeil's out there playing the same way he played in the first half, absolutely, something has to be different, something has to change, and I won't be surprised if we've seen a Acuna or Jet Williams at second base, especially if we don't re-sign Jose Iglesias. And Iglesias, he also plays a little bit of third base as well. So who knows? There's so many. It's a great thing to have so many guys be able to play so many different positions well. That it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Uh, Mets 2025 starting pitching Garrett Crochet, which for some reason I love saying Crochet. I don't know why. Kodai Senga, Sean Manaea, David Peterson, Paul Blackburn, Roki Saki, and I can't be the only one. But when I see Roki Saki, I hear the name said. What was Shredder's name from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Wasn't it something similar to that, like a Roki? Was it a Roki Saki or something like that? You know what I'm talking about, Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja. I feel like that name was super close to that. I remember the first time I heard that name, Roki Saki, his name being mentioned in the possible international uh, prospect, or being available through international signing day or whatever it is. Uh, my first thought was Shredder from the Turtles. I'm like, is that the same name? For some reason I feel like it is, but I could be way off on that. I could be way off on that. I really wish I had like a multi-computer setup where I could still talk. I can type it up, but no, I have to go to my cell phone. I'm down like this, and I look like an idiot. The light shining on my face. That drives me insane. I hate doing it. So the whole Garrett Crochet thing, I know that I think I covered that last week. There was talking about a possible trade for Garrett Crochet, which I'd be down with it. I'd be down for it, absolutely. And you have the here we go. The Shredder is depicted as the alter ego of Haruko Saki. Okay, see, that's not that far off, right? That's not that far off. I saw it, so I'm not crazy. Oroku Saki, and this guy's name is Roki Sasaki. I mean, if you say it fast, it sounds the same. So I'm not insane. So yeah, and I know there's a bunch of huge pitching prospects out there right now. I'd love the Mets to bring back Sean Manaea if they had to. If they miss out on the lad from Baltimore, or who else is out there? The lad from Baltimore. Uh, Shit, who's the other big one? There's two really big names out there. Uh, it doesn't matter, but I'd like to definitely bring back Sean Mania. And if you have to, if you're out there, you're scratching. Uh, Luis Severino. I thought he had a really good season last year with the Mets. Ate a lot of innings, and I think that was a big thing with our bullpen. Our bullpen was so overused and it was not very good at all. Is that you had somebody that was able to go out there and give up 4 or 5 runs? Okay, you don't want to see that, but still go 7 innings, 8 innings. Pitch 110, 115 pitches if you had to, and still be all right. Um, but that's one of the things I liked about Luis Severino. But he did have a ton of quality starts, I thought, and yeah, that's always a route. But I do like that pitching rotation right there. We'll see when Paul Blackburn comes back off injury. They're saying that there's a chance that he misses spring training or comes back late spring training. So if he does come back late or misses spring training, you're probably not going to see him until May. By the time he ramps up and stuff like that, maybe even late May. It seems that you kind of want to be careful, with arms. You don't want to rush him back too much. And we'll see what happens with Paul Blackburn. But and to be honest with you, I'm kind of excited to see Paul Blackburn. We didn't get to see him too much. He pitched like 2 or 3 games for the Mets, and that was it. And I didn't think he looked bad. I really didn't. I think there was the one game. I think he pitched maybe twice against the Marlins or somebody like a lesser team. But in the one game he pitched, he did get lit up a little bit. And I don't know if it was against the Braves or somebody like that, or Dodgers maybe. But he did get lit up a little bit. And but for the most part, I feel like he has high upside. But I'd love to see the Mets go after Roki Saki, especially after missing out on Yamamoto and all those type guys last season. And there's rumors that the Dodgers are going to go hard at this guy. And the reason, and so I went over this I think last week when I was talking about this guy. I think I did. At least I wanted to. Maybe I didn't. But he's coming out early. He's being posted early. So the way I read it, the way I understood it, the way I read it is there's a limit as to what he can be signed for. He's not going to make the big money that Yamamoto got from the Dodgers, that the Mets offered Yamamoto, and he spurned us for the same amount with the Dodgers. And he can't sign for that large amount until his second contract. And it's something about being posted early. Him being posted early and him being allowed to post early. That was the other thing. Like the team that owns his rights in Japan in the Nippon League, they lose out as well by posting him early. So I don't even know why the hell they're doing it, because they get a kickback when they post when they let these guys get posted for major league possible major league team. They get like a 10% kickback of what they signed for. So what was it? What did Yamamoto sign for? $330 million. So the team that he played for in the Nippon League, they got 10% of that. Right, so that's a nice chunk of change for that team. But this guy, I don't know. I can't remember what the max is that he can sign for. I really can't. But it's nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. It's almost like a minor league type deal. And so he's going to come cheap. So you're going to have a lot of teams in on this guy. And looking at his stats, I think last year a low 2 ERA, fantastic pitcher, absolutely fantastic. And so there's gonna be a lot of teams in on this guy. So you have to figure a ton of competition, and you have to figure, with the high Japanese um, following already in Los Angeles, you'd almost have to guarantee he's gonna end up a Dodger. That's just what it feels like. And yeah, that's where I would bet a Roki Sasaki goes to, not Shredder, not a Roku Saki, Roki Sasaki. I would not be surprised if he end up with the Dodgers, and it's gonna piss me off. So, hey, Cowboy Dave checking in. What's up, Dave? Yeah, the Shred. See, I wasn't far off, Dave, or Okazaki. Yeah, Corbin Burns, free agent. Freeman, I don't know. I can't think of a pitcher named Freeman. I don't know. Max Fried. I think he resigns with the Braves. I really do. I have a hard time seeing him going anywhere else. This one's the interesting one. Blake Snell. And so the reason this is interesting is as I was listening to Locked On Mets with our boy Ryan Finkelstein. I disagree with a lot of things that Ryan says, but I really enjoy listening to his podcast because he has a bunch of different views on things, different from mine, and it makes me think, and sometimes it sways me a little bit. But this is one thing where I kind of agree with him with. Uh, if you resign if you resign Alonso, you bring in Soto, and now you're looking for a good starting pitcher. Corbin Burns was offered a qualifying offer, which he declined. Which obviously. Uh, if you sign him, you have to give up. I think you have to give up international money, and you have to give up draft picks as well. It's something like that. But Blake Snell, he was not offered a qualifying offer, so you could sign him without any sort of penalty besides luxury cap type stuff. So as much as I said last year, I don't want any parts of Blake Snell. I would absolutely take Blake Snell this year, especially if the Mets go the route that I hope that they go in re-signing Pete and going Juan Soto. I would be in on Blake Snell then. I absolutely would be. I don't know about Max Fried. Like I said, I think Max Fried is going to be a Brave. I don't see him going anywhere else. And Jonathan, I talked about this 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I absolutely 100% want the Mets to re-sign Trevor Williams. He had a really good season with the Nats, and I said it when he was with the Mets. I really liked him. He was our long reliever in was it 2022 I think or 2023. Was it 22? I think it was it both years. But anyway, he was like a long reliever, kind of a side armor. I thought he had terrific stuff. Looked really, really good for the most part, but he wanted to be a starting pitcher, and the Mets wanted to use him out of the bullpen, so he left, a la Seth Lugo, and we see where Seth Lugo is. And I begged and pleaded to the high heavens, to the baseball gods, for the Mets to re-sign Seth Lugo, and we signed the wrong guy. We signed Ottavino and let Lugo walk. But yeah, Trevor Williams, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it if the Mets brought him back. He could absolutely be a number 5, a number 6 starter. And I think that'd be awesome. I really would. I think that'd be fantastic. Very fantastic. Roki Sasaki is looking for a team with a 6-man rotation. Only the Mets and Dodgers are doing 6-man rotations. Yeah, and that's because of the Japanese pitchers. The Japanese pitchers, as we have learned with Kodai Senga, that's what they do in Japan. That's what they're used to, and that's beneficial to them. And I think that's not a bad deal for your starting pitching rotation anyway. I mean, like, yeah, you want to get your top guys out there more often, but especially first half of the season, doing a 6-man rotation to kind of save innings on the top half of your rotation. 6-man rotations are awesome, and if you can get 6 good pitchers, like you have it back here, to look back on your past comment here, those are 6 really good pitchers, right? You can do a 6-man rotation all season with that. And occasionally, with certain days off, kind of mix it up a little bit. If you want, Garrett Crochet to get an extra start in a week or whatever, mix it up a little bit. Maybe skip a start by Blackburn or push a start back for Blackburn or something like that, or Peterson. Absolutely, and just looking at that starting rotation there, that's phenomenal. That's terrific. So. I've come around on the 6-man rotation thing. I wasn't huge on it before, but I've come around on it. I like the idea of a 6-man rotation. I like what it can do for your what it can do for your top half of the rotation, saving their arms for especially later in the season when you're really needing those guys maybe to go on short rest to get big wins down the stretch and whatnot. And even leading into playoffs when you have your short series. You don't have to worry going from a short series to a long series when you have a good 6-man rotation. Like, oh, these guys aren't ready to start. Going from wild card to NLDS, these guys aren't ready to start your NLDS. Now you're starting on short rest or not. But if you have a good strong 6-man rotation, you're comfortable with the back half of your rotation starting an NLDS, and maybe you're your front half guys getting an extra day's break before they hop back in to the rotation. So I'm definitely down with the 6-man rotation. And I think these teams are going to see as you're hearing year after year more and more of these Japanese stud pitchers coming over. That you're going to see more and more of these teams going 6-man rotation, and because the Mets and Dodgers aren't going to be able to sign all the Japanese pitchers. There's going to be guys that trickle through to different teams, and you're going to see more of it. You're going to see more 6-man rotation. I think it's going to be a lot of analytical type stuff. For analytical type reasonings, if anything, it's just seeing how it benefits your top half of the rotation and how you can move things around when need be with extra days rest. We had an extra day off here with the rain out, or maybe a scheduled day off. We can move these guys up and move these guys back, or reset your rotation. Maybe there's a bigger series coming up next series where you need your big guys going. Okay, well, we can move that. We have the benefit of doing that because of the 6-man rotation. I think it's going to become a bigger thing each year moving by now. I do believe that, which is going to thin out the starting pitching pool. So, hopefully you have a strong farm system with strong starting pitching, and go from there. Build it from the ground up. And that's one thing I love about Steve Cohen is that's one thing he talked about is building from the ground up. He does. He's not just he loves doing the free agency thing, and of course David Stearns loves doing the trade thing, wheeling and dealing through trades, and the free agency market. Steve Cohen said when he bought the Mets, he wants to build it from the ground up, and that's your farm system. And so far, this is probably the best farm system I can remember. Being a Mets fan, it's when I was younger, I didn't get the shit of the farm system. What that was the farm system? I didn't even know what it was. AA, AAA. But anyway, getting older, understanding more about baseball, and having the World Wide Web at my fingertips here, a lot more information. So with that being said, a couple things I wanted to hit on. So I wanted to compare Soto, Bregman, and Alonso because Bregman's Alex Bregman's name has been popping up a lot, and I just wanted to compare stats and if you could sign two, which two would you sign? So you look at Juan Soto, absolutely insane 7.9 WAR this past season. He played in 157 games, 166 hits, 31 doubles, 41 home runs, 109 RBI, 129 walks. The dude gets on base a lot. 119 strikeouts. Doesn't strike out a whole lot. He hit 288, 419 on base percentage, which is absolutely insane. 569 slug. His OPS 989, 993 fielding percentage with 2 errors. Looking at Alex Bregman. He's 30, 4.1 WAR, 145 games played, 151 hits, 30 doubles. 26 home runs, 75 RBI, 44 walks, did not walk a lot at all. Did not strike out a lot at all either. 86 Ks. He hit 260, 315 on base, 453 slug, a 768 OPS, 10 errors at the hot corner there, a 972 fielding percentage. By most accounts, he is a very good third baseman. Pete Alonso, 29 years old, 2.6 WAR, 162 games played, 146 hits, 31 doubles, 34 home runs, 88 RBI, 70 walks, 172 Ks, 240 batting average, 329 on base, 459 slug, 788 OPS, 7 errors at first base, which I'd never heard this said before, but I did hear it for the first time this year. They called it the cold corner. I never heard that before. I don't know if that's something that you guys have heard or not, but the cold corner. And a 995 fielding percentage. And Pete was the best in Major League Baseball in picks. He had the highest percentage of picks out of the dirt, which if you watch a Mets game, the dude he picks everything out of the dirt. That's one thing you have to give Pete Alonso credit for. If you think he's a terrible fielder, which I don't, I think he's a good fielder, not a great fielder, never will be a great fielder, never going to win a Gold Glove, but he's a good fielder. I think he's very good at first base. I don't feel like the Mets defense is bad when he's out there. So, but he picks everything out of the dirt, everything. Absolutely amazing. So if you had to sign two out of those three, I would definitely go Soto and Alonso. And nothing against Bregman. Bregman's outstanding. I feel like we're solidified at third base with Mark Vientos. And even if you want to move Vientos at DH, I feel like there's a chance that Brett Brady could still be something special. So I just don't. I feel like we have the homegrown talent there already. So I don't feel like we need Bregman. And for what Bregman may be asking, I just think it's bananas. So I was reading earlier this morning. The Athletics' Tim Britton said he has Bregman listed as 7 years, $189 million with the 27 AAV. He's a two-time All-Star. He's a Gold Glove winner and a Silver Slugger winner. That's what Tim Britton from the Athletic has him posted as. But Ken Rosenthal said that Scott Boras and Bregman could be looking to get a Manny Machado-esque type deal, 11 years, $350 million. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know where Ken Rosenthal is getting that from. But if Scott Boras and Alex Bregman are looking to get that type of money, he's not worth it. He's absolutely not worth that. Absolutely not worth that. Instead in 11 years, taking him into his 40s, no. He signed Pete Alonso. He probably signed Pete Alonso for less in less years. So no way. So I'd definitely go Pete Alonso and Juan Soto. And of course, I'm a huge Pete Alonso fan. So that's one reason why I'd also go Pete Alonso. I am biased, and I'm not afraid to say that. Jonathan says it's signed Santander and Christian Walker. And that's the other guy I was looking at. Anthony Santander from, I don't know why I have a hard time saying his last name. Santander. I don't know, because I hear it said pronounced so many different ways. Like down the road from me, I live in Pottsville, PA. Down the road from me is Reading, Pennsylvania, and they have the Santander Arena. That's a bank, Santander. But I see this, and that's why I want to say, but that's not how you pronounce it. You have to add a little bit of Latino flair to it, and I can't do it. I don't know. It doesn't flow out for me. But anyway, and Christian Walker, that's who he'd sign. Christian Walker, a huge name coming out of Arizona, a very good first baseman. I feel like he had a little bit of a down season this year. I could be wrong, and I have to go back and look at the stats. I'm not 100% sure off of that. But Santander, if you miss out on Juan Soto, this has to be the guy that you're going. This has to be the guy you're going after. 40 home runs. Did I write his stats down? No, I didn't. But I was just looking at him this morning. He had 40 home runs, 100 plus RBI, I believe. Batting average was low, like I want to say it was 220 something, but I could be wrong there as well. But he's a right fielder as well. So if for some reason you miss out on Juan Soto, why not? Go Santander and Christian Walker. If you lose Pete Alonso, I think Christian Walker is a great idea. I like that idea going after Christian Walker more than I like the idea of moving Mark Vientos off of third to first base. I like that idea more. But first and foremost, I'd want the polar bear back. I want Pete back. So Corbin Burns, 5 years, $170 million. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd take that. If you're going to if you're going to go out there and make a splash in the starting pitching, I'd go Corbin Burns, 5 years, $170 million. Yeah. If you make that trade with Garrett Crochet, I don't know if the Mets would go after Corbin Burns then, because I do like the idea of bringing Sean Manaea back. I really do. And so if you go with that rotation that you had posted earlier with the Garrett Crochet, Kodai Senga, Manaea, Peterson, Blackburn, and Roki Saki. Again, you have a couple of questions there. You have Crochet, Saki, Sasaki, and Manaea. If you get those three, then obviously that's your rotation. But if you get two of those three, you still have a spot open. I don't know if they'd go Corbin Burns or not. I guess they'd still have the money to do it. I don't know. That'd be interesting if you miss out on let's say Sasaki goes to the Dodgers. Do you go after Corbin Burns then? It's a great question. I'd definitely love to have Corbin Burns on the team. He's familiar with Stearns from Milwaukee. So, yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I was just talking about Mike Trout. So me and another gentleman I work with. His name is Guy Ebert. Shout out, Guy. What's up? We were just talking about different scenarios for different teams. He's a Phillies fan. Of course, I'm surrounded by him here in Pennsylvania, and me being a Mets fan. Then eventually the talk came to Mike Trout, and I said I was surprised that Mike Trout signed with the Angels. I'm surprised he didn't sign with the Phillies. That's kind of like that's his favorite team. I'm not sure if he's a New Jersey kid or not. I feel like that's his hometown team as well. So, but he's a Phillies fan. He is. So, or was anyway. We couldn't understand why he signed with the Angels. I said, so was it Otani? Or was it just I don't know. But now with his injuries and stuff like that, like he can't. You can't break the bank for Mike Trout anymore just because of the injury history now, and just the decline due to the injuries. But you know, who would you trade for Mike Trout? Like you would have to give up some pretty big prospects, I think, still, even for today's Mike Trout. And who would you be willing to part with? Acuna, Gilbert, guys like that. It'd probably still take more than that. We'd we'll throw a Jeff McNeil in there too. Starling Marte. I don't know. But it'd be interesting. I really do. I want to see Mike Trout. I do want to see Mike Trout somewhere else besides the Angels, a contender. I'm not a huge Mike Trout fan by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not, watching all of his highlights or whatever. But I respect Mike Trout. A terrific talent, great career, one of the greats of all time. But these injuries have just absolutely killed his career. Still, I believe a Hall of Famer. I'd have to go back and look at his numbers again, but I'd still believe he's a Hall of Famer. But it could have been so much more. But these injuries have just derailed his career. But I'd love to see him just on a contender. Uh, just see him have a chance, and so maybe it brings a spark back or something. He's just he's dying in that Angels organization because they're not going anywhere. Those days are gone for the Angels. Those days of winning World Series, they're behind them. Would they win two when uh, former Dodgers catcher was their coach? I'm so bad with names. It's ridiculous. Starts with an S. Oh shit. Mike Scioscia. When Scioscia was their coach. I don't remember if they won one or two. They definitely won one, but for some reason I feel like they might have won two, or they were in two World Series. I would trade everyone except for Clifford and Sprout. Wow. I know Clifford. He's a huge prospect. I do know that. Sprout, however you want to say it again. Brandon Sprout. He's our biggest pitching prospect right now. I'm a big fan still of Jet Williams. I wouldn't have any problem trading Mauricio and Acuna or Mauricio and Gilbert. The one I'm really concerned about Ryan Mauricio's knee and just like his rehab, where that's at. That really has me concerned. As either his level of commitment, or is this going to be an ongoing issue? Injury wise. Somebody that's healing this slow, or is he not putting in the effort to get stronger, get better? And listen, I never hung out with Ronnie Mauricio. I don't know him. We could walk by each other, and we wouldn't know each other. If he's watching the show right now, Ronnie, it's nothing personal. Because I'm sure, I have lots of famous people that watch this show, like Cowboy Dave and Jonathan here. So, but anyway, Ryan Mauricio is not watching this show. But if he was, Ryan, nothing personal, Ronnie. But I know when I tore my ACL, again, different. It's different. I get it. I had total ACL reconstruction. So two screws. They took a piece of my, I believe, patella tendon, screwed it into my knee, made a new ACL for me. I got some hardware in my knee, and that was my sophomore year of high school. I believe it was February. It's January or February, Is one of those months. I don't remember exactly now. It's so long ago. And so that means I had about 6 months to get ready for football season. I was not missing my junior year of football. So I bust my ass in rehab every day throughout the spring, throughout the summer, just to get back for my junior season of football. And I still wasn't 100%, but I made it back. Now, with that being said, he's a professional athlete. He has uh, all sorts of gadgets and gizmos at his disposal to help him get back and get back quick off of this. He's not going to your local YMCA to rehab. He's not going to your local hospital, where they rehab patients, with a bunch of old people, rehabbing a broken hip and stuff like that, like I had to. He has state of the art equipment. I'm sure of it. Rehabbing this, and top doctors helping him and top physical therapists helping him to rehab, and he's still not back yet. I mean, that gives me some concern. That gives me a lot of concern. Either his level of commitment or uh, his body. Is it susceptible to break down easier and quicker, and is it always going to take longer to come back from? Injuries are going to happen. It's going to happen, absolutely. So, but that's I'd get rid of I wouldn't be afraid to trade Ronnie. And I was so high on Ronnie Mauricio. Uh, I kept comparing him to this one the one Yankee player. It's just one of those days I can't remember anybody's name. I can't tell you how frustrated I am with that. I got to start taking Alpha Brain or something. You ever hear those commercials for like Joe Rogan with Alpha Brain and whatnot? But Alfonso Soriano. I always compared Ronnie Mauricio kind of like Alfonso Soriano. He looks tall, lanky, great power, super athletic, can be a star. That's how I view Ryan Mauricio. But now after this ACL, uh, you know, injury and stuff like that, it's it gives me a lot of concern. Either his body or his level of commitment to it. So, uh, yeah, I do need a long vacation. Yeah, I'd take that any week, any 2 weeks, any time. But it's gonna be a while yet before I get a long vacation. Probably summertime. My daughter plays travel softball. That's our vacation now. So last year we were up in Connecticut for nationals. This year, hopefully, we're down in Myrtle Beach. That'd be a lot of fun. So. You take nicotine gum to think faster. I've never been a smoker, so I'm not going to take nicotine gum. But I actually, to be 100% honest, with you, I have thought about getting Alpha Brain because it's not just doing this where I forget names or I forget things. It's a lot of daily stuff where it's like, man, I was supposed to do something. What the hell was it? Like, do I have something going on here? Like, am I early onset dementia or something? I don't know, but it's usually a lot of it's names. It's usually names I'll forget. I could picture the faces. It's the names just escape me, and then later on I'll think of the name, and it just makes me so angry. Oh, yeah, it's like a hulking out here. So all right. So that's all I really wanted to cover today. If there is any breaking news with Mets signing Juan Soto or anything like that, uh, don't be surprised if I hop on for a quick episode of the Batcave to talk about it and implications and stuff like that. Because of everything I heard, they're saying that they're hoping to have a done deal. Juan Soto's camp is hoping to have it all finished up and wrapped up before the winter meetings start. And I think the winter meetings, I think they're either right before or right after Thanksgiving. For some reason, I feel like they're early December, but I could be wrong about that. So you have to figure he wants it wrapped up by Thanksgiving, which is next week, and that's my favorite time of year is Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. Even on this weight loss kick I'm on. I'm down 85 pounds now. So watch out, ladies. I'm married, so don't even get any ideas out there. Just watch out, calendars. Here comes Ken. Here comes the bat fry. Wapa, wapa. Yeah, there we go. Face shot. There we go. Mankini season's right around the corner. Mankini, watch out. All right. Anyway, I'm done. So that's all I have for today. Check me out. I'll be live Friday morning with the Silver and Black Lair Raiders edition. Talk about that nonsense. Uh, the Raiders, yeah, don't even know where to go with that anymore. But all right. Anyway, uh, if you're not going to check that out, I'll be live again next Monday or Tuesday with the LA Kings, the Silver and Black Lair LA Kings. And if you're not into that either, you just want to be here for the Mets talk, I will be back next Wednesday. We'll see. The reason I went on later today is because I have nothing else going on. There's no sports right now for the kids. And so I'm like, I want to try to go on a little bit later, see how my viewership goes, see what kind of live viewers I get. I did get a more live viewers, and Jonathan here throwing out a ton of comments. Jonathan, thank you very much. I can't stress to you guys enough how much more fun and how much more easier it is when you have people throwing out comments. Anything, you want to talk about anything, like there's a really good chance that I have no idea what you're talking about, and I just like, but I'll give it a shot. But I'll put it out there for everybody else to hear as well, just in case there's somebody else out there watching that like, I agree with that. Let me put that out there as well, or I disagree. I think they should go this way, whatever. Just it makes makes this so much more fun, so much more easier when there's comments out there. And like I said, anything, it could be anything, like, hey, did you hear the new Linkin Park album? What do you think of that? Stuff. I'll talk about that. I don't care. Anything. So thank you very much, Jonathan, Cowboy Dave, Stacy, for checking in. Did I miss anybody else? I think that was everybody that commented. Yeah. So thank you guys for commenting. Thank you everybody else for checking the show out. I appreciate it very much. Hopefully I didn't drive you insane, and hopefully you come back next time, check the show out. So I'll be back next Wednesday, and if I'm available, I'm going to do it again around 5:00. If not, I'll do it 10 a.m. like my normal time, and go from there. So until then, let's go Mets, and see you later.